All right, says we're live.
Duty's going.
Right. Stream is up, so we'll go ahead and call the January 12th, 2026 meeting of the Dubois County Airport Authority to order. I guess we should start with a roll call first. So we'll go down the roll. Board Member Beckman?
Here.
Blessinger?
Here.
Cummings? Here. McMahon absent. Maxey?
Here.
Schnaus?
Here.
Thank you. All right, being the first meeting of the year, we need to reorganize. So we'll start out with election of officers, 2026.
You can do that one by one if you want, or if somebody wants to nominate a slate to cover all those positions, you can do that as well.
Very good. So we do have president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and assistant treasurer, and an assistant secretary. So,
For president, I nominate Ken Schnaus.
I'll second that.
all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, so we'll go through one at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that's
or
fine.
we can get to another at any point. So,
Do you want to entertain a motion for any further nominations?
sure, any other nominations or discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote there on the motion from Becky and second by Brian. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Too bad.
As long as you didn't decline.
Now, will Ken preside over the rest of this election, you think?
Oh.
We want to swap?
You can, yeah.
Come on over.
Come on, Jack.
You know what, I seconded.
Jack, tell him what he wants.
Really good. I just what I told him.
Yeah. I'll swap you this way. Take the rest of that.
Okay. All right, well, it looks like the next position is the vice president. That's Mike, you're currently vice?
That's right.
I would make a motion that he would maintain that position.
I'll second that. Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Yeah, thank you.
Any opposed? Okay, then we got treasurer. Currently, that's Jay, that's you?
Currently, no,
I'm
currently,
secretary.
currently,
Oh, you're the secretary.
you're the.
You're
Well, I'm the
treasurer.
treasurer.
I mean, yeah.
I probably can't hold that position any longer.
Uh,
I don't know who.
I'd like to make a motion that Becky would be the treasurer.
Second that nomination.
Any other discussion or nominations? Not hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain.
And assistant treasurer. Who is that now? Is that you now?
That is Mary, yeah.
Yep.
Becky is now assistant treasurer.
Gosh, I got a raise there.
What's Rick?
He's secretary. No, he's
I'm
assistant secretary.
We all got to hold a position.
Well, that's the way you've kind of done it in the past.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
We're talking about treasurer.
assistant treasurer.
Assistant
I
treasurer.
nominate Brian.
Sounds good to me. I'll second that motion.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll abstain.
Secretary.
Currently, that's Jay Maxey.
Are we with that, Jay?
I'll vote to nominate.
Yes.
Yeah, in light of Jay's willingness, I'll nominate Jay.
And I'll second that. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
And then leaves one office.
Assistant Secretary.
which currently Rick Mann is in that position.
Yeah, so I would nominate Rick again.
And I'll second that. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We were all received a copy of last month's minutes in the email. Ryan, did you get your copy?
I did, yep.
Is there any questions or issues with the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Well, we need somebody to approve them. Somebody approve
Motion
the
approved.
motion.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The list now says, Travis, you're up.
Sure. So this is the designated time and place for a farm ground bid being received. I appreciate all the producers that are here and all those that have submitted farm ground bids. So tonight what we'll do, sorry with Phil, we're just gonna open those bids up, take them under advisement, and then we'll make an official response after we get a chance to calculate everything out through a spreadsheet. So that's as the board recalls, and for the rest of everybody in the room, in the past, we have done it for 5-year term. Austin came in and asked the board if we could go to a 6, so the board elected to go to a 6-year term. So we have 4 different tracts of property. We got Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta is what I kind of simplified them in my world. And a total of about 229 acres total. So the bids are going to be based upon a percentage of Purdue Land Value Survey. And we've had, we went out and advertised through WBEC. We got some solicitations as a result of that. And then we had a long list of previous interested producers. And so I went through that list and calling those producers. Over excess of 20 local producers was contacted. So obviously not all 20 showed up tonight, but many of them was very appreciative. We at least kept them on the loop and what's going on. So having said all that, Phil, how we want to open these? And
Just open them and identify the bidder and the bid proposal, and somebody should be tabulating them.
First bid is for, and Travis, I'm gonna let you read those. You
Please.
probably
Okay.
understand that.
Yep.
When you said Alpha, Bravo, you already lost me, so.
Okay. This is 4 different areas. So this is for Delta. This is for 100 and.
Who's the bidder? I want you to start with the bidder.
I gotta start with the bidder. Sorry, my bad. Trenton Van Horn, is that right, guys? Sorry. Okay, I'll make sure. Okay, 115.72%. Is that right? 115.72 for Delta. I need to put these somewhere else. For Charlie or C, 102.62%. Again, Trenton Van Horn. For Bravo, 99.13%. Is that right? 99.13% for Trenton Van Horn, and for Alpha, 101.16%. For that bidder. All right, so that bidder is there.
Is this just handling?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it was just handing
Just
tonight.
keep,
Yeah,
you get them all.
Yeah, that's right. Come on in, Brandon. Next bidder is A&M Farms. For Charlie, 116.25%. For Delta, 116.25%. For Bravo, 112.25%. And for Alpha, 76%. Okay, again, that's percentage based on Purdue Land Value Survey, and that is A&M Farms. So, next one.
We have a staple,
Do you need an opener?
There's no envelope in this one.
No, we just handed that in. All right. Next bidder is Gary Begley. What's right here? Gary Begley. 98.25% for Bravo.
What's that? 9825.
98.25. For Charlie, 100.62%. For Delta, 115.72%. For Alpha, I'm struggling with this one, Gary. Is that? So, my bad.
I'm gonna stroke too. 56.7.
Okay, 6.7.
6.8.
Okay. 56.78 or 76, something like that, percent for Alpha. Okay. Next bid is J&S Farms. J&S Farms. First track is Charlie, 132%. Next track is Delta, 133%. Again, this is J&S Hausnauer Farms. Track Bravo is 135%. And the last area is Alpha, and that is 100% of the Purdue Land Value Survey, and that was J&S Farms. All right, next. Next bid is Dakota Begley. First track is Charlie. It is the alternate proposal, $250 cash every year for Charlie.
That's per acre, I assume.
Yep, per acre per year. I assume that too. Again, this is Dakota Begley. This is track Bravo. $250 cash rent every year. For track Delta, same thing, $250 cash rent every year. And for Alpha, $200 cash rent each year. All right. And last bid up is Daryl Alford. And the first track is Charlie, and that is 80% for Charlie. Next track is Delta, 80% for Delta. And track Bravo is 80% of the Purdue Land Value Survey for Bravo. And I think that's it. So that concludes. No way that I saw it. No way.
Okay.
No way. So, just want to say thank you to all the producers that are here this evening. Thanks for your interest in the bid submittals. And we'll go back and spreadsheet all out and share all the information with everybody. You know? So, any questions anybody might have for us right now? Well, you guys are welcome to hang around and be bored with tears with a board meeting, but you're also welcome to grab a cup of coffee and head out if you want to.
Travis, how many acres are in Alpha?
I got it denoted there. Alpha is 60.8 in my head. It's in my head. 60.8 is in my head.
Kind of really, the way we have to look at, the one bid was a cash price, so we have to figure,
Yeah,
compare that to the percentage.
yeah, about 12,000.
And we'll see how that compares with
This is
the
one
other.
of the things.
You're right, somebody.
The only one that did a bid on there.
Somebody's gonna have to do a spreadsheet on those numbers.
Yeah. Do we want to go ahead and form a quick committee so we can kind of run that through and
Now feel we're limited to on committees that,
Well, it really doesn't matter if it's a committee of the board, it's a public meeting, it's a public body, it has to, they meet, they have to give notice of the meeting and open it to public.
so we can have more than two people as I'm getting out.
Yeah, you can have as many people as you want, but it doesn't, it still has to be brought back to the board and it's still a public
They
meeting.
can't make a
It's a- it's a-
decision made here.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the other thing you can do is just have Travis and Steve tabulate the bids and make a recommendation at the next meeting, or if you want to call a special meeting, if it's necessary to award them before the next meeting.
Oh, my producer stepped outside. I don't think they're,
Track day is 60 acres, 60.8 acres.
60.88.
I don't think it's imperative that we have done. I mean, we could probably push to the February, because typically they'll go into March before they really start.
It seems to me that these are just numbers and
There's no decisions to be
there's no,
made other than
yeah,
the
it's pretty
calculation.
objective.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Well,
if you have Steve and Travis tabulate and bring them back,
That's fine.
And we'll know who's high and
yeah.
who's not.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I personally don't feel like we need to have a committee who just
Fair enough.
tabulate it.
Yeah.
And if we got time to wait for the next meeting, then we do that. Announce the winners of the next
Yeah.
meeting.
They won't be planting next month.
No, I don't think so.
April at the earliest. Okay, next up is, Mr. Russ Williamson is here this evening. He's, with I'm gonna cuss, aren't I?
Close enough.
Close enough. I was getting ready to say Old National Insurance, but it's not that anymore. It's Epic Insurance, right?
We got sold down the river to a private equity in 2016, and it's been a pretty good journey since we were Old National. We're, for those of you that haven't met me, I'm Russ Williamson. I'm out of Terre Haute, Indiana. Hey, how's it going?
No second wars.
I can make this as short and simple as you'd like, or we can go
Yes.
through every page in excruciating detail. So I'll leave it up to you all. But good news. Again, my name's Russ with Epic out of Terre Haute. I've been handling the airport here. My dad has been handling it for probably 30 years. I for the last 15 or so. I run the aviation division for all of our Midwest offices. We've got about 15 airports that I write in the Midwest, anywhere from small regional to larger commercial, exposure airports. And I'm a pilot myself. There's only a handful of carriers that write airport insurance. I mean, there's just so many tools in the toolbox. There's only so many, and we represent them all directly. This renewal this year, I think, is in good shape. We've locked in the property for 3 years moving forward to 2028. We've seen a little bit of an increase in the premium to do that. Our airport liability is about the same, about a 5% increase. Overall, total premium increase for the year is 6.25%. Most of that coming from the property, which is $2,400 in total. Again, hadn't had a rate change for the last 3 years, have a little bit of a rate change moving forward, as well as exposure increase of about 4% for inflation. The directors and officers coverage, that's what most of my boards are most interested in. You've got $1 million of liability coverage through one of the premier carriers who writes municipal entities. They are impossible to touch in terms of rate, in terms of policy forms, and that renewal is basically flat. So any one of you individually has an additional $1 million if you're named, and the primary $1 million is exhausted. So each one of you has $2 million basically, based on this policy. My topics for discussion, there's really not a whole lot that I wanted to hit on tonight. Between Travis and Steve, we've confirmed some of the subjectivity items. No change to the consulting fee for me. That is one thing that's unique. I don't work on commission, I work on a consulting basis. And that is pretty low in terms of percentage of total annual premium as a percentage. That's pretty low. We may need to look at adjusting that next year. It's been the same since 2021. No change this year. The biggest topic in this whole proposal is the last 2 pages. It is the new terminal building. Our primary property carrier was not willing to write it this year. It's a wood structure. It's not sprinkler. We're in what's called a protection class 10, so we're pretty far away from a responding fire department. If we can get water supply properly updated, and I know you have been working Jim has been working kind of for the last 2 years probably to get those dry hydrants up to spec. I'm not sure where they are in that process, but that's something that's for a standard carrier to pick it up. We need to get the water flow issues dealt with at some point. However, what we thought was going to be a $20,000 premium, I have gotten secured for $10,000. So when you get the certificate of occupancy for that building, we need to add it to the permanent insurance. It's a $10,000 bill, basically on an annual term. That's $6 million limit, $4.5 million. I apologize. The full project cost was over 6, but hard cost was 4.5. Includes machinery breakdown, includes some contents coverage. It's a $25,000 wind hail deductible, which is quite a bit higher than what we have now. But again, I was very happy with that, with the premium that we were able to land on. Any other deductible than wind hail is $5,000, which is the same as the rest of our property.
You're saying the new terminal, the cost to be added to this?
In addition to what you see on page 26. $59,001 is our annual premium minus the terminal building.
Do you have any feeling on, if we get, I think we're working with the city to get the water, what that effect that might have in dollars?
I think it can be added to our primary package with a blanket limit with all the broad form that we have now. I think it will help with the coverage terms, not necessarily as much with premium. In terms of rate, it might soften slightly, but I can find out.
Okay. Yeah, I've been told that all the equipment, the parts, all necessary to create the dry dam, or I guess it's called a dry dam. Dry hydrant. They are in. The city has those, and they're going to be working with some contractor to install those very soon.
Okay. Good.
It's not a contingency with the carrier that's quoted at 10,000, so we'd be good till next year. And what I'd propose to do is a short term, so we get all of our effective dates in line. Whenever you take possession, we'll make the policy effective and then cancel it to meet all the other renewal dates. Keep it nice and simple. I'm happy to go through any of the policy detail. There's a lot of information here that I've kind of hit the highlights though. Let me know how to proceed.
Well, I just want to take a second to say thank you, Russ, for doing your due diligence and helping us, find these policies kind of unique, and particularly with our new terminal building, but just being an airport, kind of unique, and appreciate you helping us keep that cost down.
But Jim, thanks, Jim, for all your efforts. I know this was kind of your pet project, and I had you running around answering a lot of questions in the process.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions for us?
Cyber liability, is that just going up in general? It's just general increase on like the 11% increase there?
Yeah, our revenue was up a little bit on aircraft training. It was down on repair and service. So it's not a revenue base. It is market generated. And there was a claim, by the way. That's another part of it. Sorry.
One thing I was curious, yeah.
Could I throw a question out?
You bet. Go ahead.
If you had a lake, a place for a hard truck to pick up to the lake, would that help us in payment?
That's what we're talking about for the dry hydrant.
Oh, price.
Yeah, that's what our discussion is, and that's what he knows that we're working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flow volume's not sufficient as is. I think it needs to be corrected.
Essentially intercept.
Yeah, the city doesn't have enough, or St. Henry Water Corporation doesn't have enough water volume or pressure, because they get like a 3/4 inch hose feeding a 12-inch diameter hose. Just kidding, but yeah, it's not adequate. So yeah, that's the only way we can kind of secure fire protection.
Okay, I didn't wonder what all that was. So that's not what they do.
You're on the St. Henry water That's where you get it. We've got a new community center under construction down there at St. Henry right now. I'm doing fire protection sprinkler system in it. It's connected to nothing. There is nothing I can connect to. So all of my hydraulics, everything that I've done in order to get it through the state, to get a construction design release, to even build the building, is based upon a promise of the water utility that within 2 years, they will have a grant approved to really overhaul effectively their entire water system. When I talked to them, I said, I got 2 buildings up here at Huntingburg Airport, which got sprinkler systems in them that for the most part really don't work. I shouldn't say this in front of your insurance agent.
The carrier's already
I'm not
been in and out of
telling
the
you anything
buildings
that you
too.
don't already
Yes,
know.
sir.
The water's not here. You're a minimum of 2 years away from it. Keep on it.
How big a line do we have coming from their tower to here, you know?
Because at the end of the 2 years, I've already been told by the state, they will come down to see if that sprinkler system down here at the community center is connected to anything. If it's not, they will bring the county sheriff in and they'll padlock the door.
I would think a big part of for our issue would be, they got a tower right up the road here. What kind of line there is from the tower to here?
It's just tied into
If it's
their
a 2-inch
distribution.
line,
It's just tied to distribution system, and I don't know what their size of their lines are. Probably 2 inches, probably.
that was the original.
Because you see hydrants along, those are not fire hydrants, those are flushing hydrants that
Right,
flush the lines.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're, have we had the engineer's report? We're gonna have an engineer's report.
Thanks, Russ. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Russ.
So do we need a motion to authorize, approve those premium,
Sorry about that.
those coverages and premium?
I'll make that motion, Ken, to approve the insurance quote.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passed.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do engineering report. I know Todd's here. Nick's on the phone with us this evening. And, I don't know, Todd, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I'll start off with good.
How are you going first?
Yeah, Todd's going first.
Perfect, thank you.
Past month, completed punch list of both ceilings, completed painting, completed door and hardware trim, or installation of door and hardware. Continued with plumbing fixtures, EV chargers are installed, gate openers are installed, flagpole, concrete completed. Did a lot of temporary seating along the drives. Carpet and LVT has begun, about 80% completed as of today, and fire cabinets and TV brackets are going on. Did receive a updated schedule here on this past Friday, and per their schedules, we're still finishing January 30th. Punch list items probably running into about the 13th of February.
Great news.
It's tight, but I think they can do it. I mean, from what their schedule is showing, it's realistic, so.
So to get occupancy, you have to go through the punch list items before the building's turned over?
Yeah, we have to have, for occupancy, we're gonna have to have like all the emergency circuits and all that electrical tested, and also the, fire marshal will do a walkthrough along with the fire chief. Smoke detectors in the ductwork will have all be functioning, have reports on all that stuff before you get occupancy.
Okay. We'll probably meet here next month yet.
I mean, I took thrust down, Travis asked me to take thrust down, it really looks nice. They've come a long way since the last board meeting, so it looked nice.
I was in there a week ago, Todd, is that sound
Yeah,
about right?
about a week ago.
And it was people running everywhere, doing work. But yeah, it was really shaping up, looking nice.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, the schedule they presented here as of Friday here is doable. Like I said, punch items will probably, kind of worried they may run longer than a week or so, but we'll get them. Like I said, my hope is to punch rooms as they become available, and we might get some partial occupancy in some of the rooms there, you know, if it's just storage of things like that. So.
It looks very nice.
And Russ did take pictures of the inside and outside.
Yep, I did, got everything we should need. Fine.
Okay. Nick Pickle.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Don.
I just want to do a quick introduction of what Wolford does, just for Brian's information. I'll make it real brief, but I'm Nick Brian. I've been with Wolford for 8 years. Currently been with the airport probably 5 or 6 of those years. I've assisted with a lot of the most recent key capital improvement projects, from the runway extensions, the tunnel, up and including the terminal building. So we do your capital improvement program. We advise the airport as to what opportunities are available for funding via the FAA and everything in between. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we do and who I am. I'm a civil engineer and I went to road foreman, so that's my educational background. I'm also a pilot, instrument rated. So just quick little 30-second brief about myself. Unfortunately, I'm not down there today. I will be down at the airport tomorrow. So, if you're around, more than welcome to stop in, and Todd and I can show you around the terminal building, and anything else that you might want to if Travis hasn't already. So, Todd gave the overview of the terminal building from the aspect of work completed and work outstanding, and the outline of the schedule. I would kind of give an update as far as what are the next steps as far as grant and how we're coordinating with the FAA, as well as getting any admin items taken care of, such as invoices or change orders or allowance requests. So with Todd's report wrapped up, the big update that I have, not a lot, but I alluded to it at our December meeting with the FAA Airport Terminal Program, the 2026 notice of funding opportunity was released in December. It is due on Thursday of this week, so I have been working on it. It's a very similar template to what we've submitted before. We will submit it again. I will work with Travis on getting that complete and then sent into the FAA. This request will be for the site civil work, as we did already receive a grant for the terminal building itself as one scope of work. Another scope of work was identified with the site development, and then a third scope of work for the project was identified with coordination with the FAA as far as the access road. So there's 3 different scopes of work associated with the program that I've broken out with the FAA in order to break out the percentages of each individual grant. But as far as our next application, we will submit it for the site civil development of the building, as that's the only scope of work remaining that doesn't necessarily have a grant tied directly with it. I think that rough estimate is around 600,000. I do have the numbers, just don't have them right in front of me, but that's about the application amount that we'll be requesting. Now, I don't think it's a high likelihood that we'll receive that, given the fact that we've already received a large award 2 years ago, and general aviation airports aren't seeing a lot of the terminal funding. It's usually going to commercial airports, so don't hold our breath, but we are committed to exploring all different funding options for the airport, regardless of how successful they may or may not be. So we will submit that for you all. That being said, that's pretty much the update for the project. We're looking forward to getting punch lists completed here shortly, and hopefully we get some occupancy in the next couple months or two. So that's really the update that I have. The invoices, I can move forward and go towards those unless there's any questions you want me to answer right now. Okay, hearing none, we will go into the first invoice, 14 from Little Brothers, and the amount of $238,000. $392.45.
I'll make a motion to, what was that, 214, Nick?
238,
248.
238, 392.45.
Oh, yes. That is the motion I will make.
I'll second approval of that pay up 14.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
And then the second one is Wolpert invoice. It's ending 8478. That is an amount of $14,760.
So that's pretty much inspection.
I'll make a motion to invoice ending 8478.
And I'll second it.
I did not catch the amount.
And I might say, Brian, for Brian's benefit, we've contracted all these numbers ahead of time.
Right.
This is just the invoices, the
It's finally
job's been getting done, so none of this is new,
Right.
new numbers to us. It's, we've known about this for a
Yeah,
while.
the Weddle Brothers payment, you all received the payment application that has been approved by the engineers. So they certified that that work has been completed satisfactorily and or the materials are on site and they're being paid for what's there.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nick, is there anything else?
Yeah, I was just going to make mention, just because you mentioned numbers there, it gave me a good reminder. With the project being relatively close to completion, we are getting close to the 90-95% value of the grant. And as a reminder, the last 5 or 10% of the FAA grant, we are not able to request reimbursement until we close the project out. So we'll be as efficient as possible in closing the project out. But I just wanted to remind the board that the last 10% essentially of the grant, the airport will be responsible for paying the contractor and then getting reimbursed once closeout documentation is complete. I've worked with Steve and I think we've ran the numbers. I don't think there's going to be any issue with anything like that. So nothing to worry about, but I just wanted to make you all aware that Steve and I will coordinate more closely within the next couple of months to finish out the project. So that being said, I don't have anything, but like I mentioned before, I will be down at the airport tomorrow for our progress meeting and hope to see at least a couple of you there. So if not, then I will talk to you all and see you all soon.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I do have one question, it's Mike.
Yep.
Is there a window for the closeouts? Or do they do those certain at certain points of the year, or is that a rolling? Whenever we submit it, they'll review it, or is there?
I will tell you what the FAA tells us, but then I will also tell you what I think happens. What we're told is submit the closeout and they will get to it within a certain period of time. I think 60 or 90 days. What in reality I've seen happen is they usually do not get to them until the fiscal year ends. So it's usually September timeframe when they're getting grants awarded and grants closed out, because the end of September is the FAA's fiscal end. And so that's kind of their drop dead deadline. And unfortunately, sometimes that's kind of what we see as far as closeout paperwork being submitted back to the airport. But what's the saying? The squeaky wheel, the squeakier you are, the more action you'll get. So that is a technique that I usually use as well when things are of high value, like 10% on a multi-million-dollar grant.
I got a question as well. Where are we at on the contingencies? Are we going to be okay? Are we anything left? Is it all going to be used? And do you know?
Yeah, we have a good idea of what is in the contingency amounts right now. And I think we have a pretty good idea of where we may end up. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but we should be on the positive end of both of those. Both relatively substantial amounts. You can correct me if I'm wrong though, Todd.
I have these numbers in front of me if you want me to share.
Yeah, you can share where we're currently at.
Okay, currently in construction contingency, which is contractor's contingency, we have a balance of $77,917. Owner contingency, we have a balance of $91,057.49. We have a geothermal balance of $4,012. And we have a IDAM permit balance of $10,000.
So it's about 174.
Good.
There are still some remaining contract contingencies that are probably still.
The contractor's contingency stays with them though. Does that come back?
If it is not utilized, you will get that
Or
back.
that comes back as well?
Yes.
Correct. All unused contingencies are monies returned back to the airport authority. And I would like to highlight the fact that I think our owner contingency started the project at around $70,000-ish. So Todd's been doing a great job in finding areas to save the airport money and still get the best product as possible out of the project. So just wanted to highlight that.
That's great news. That's a lot better than us having to reach in our pocket to cover extras. So thank you both. Question for Steve: do we have, maybe for Phil, is the funding allowed that allows us to come up with that 400,000, 10%?
Yeah.
So we don't have to move money out of any funds or anything. It's there.
It's all timing. It's all timing doesn't.
Yeah.
We may have to before the end of the year, but.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to transfer. I mean, just intercompany.
All right, thank
I mean, the funds are there. It's just
Yeah,
they're in different. They may not be in the cumulative building fund. They may be in the general fund or in the rainy day fund. They've been appropriated. They just haven't. They're not in the right fund from which you can write a check yet.
Right.
So we don't have to get those approved. We can just move that.
Not at this point. No.
Next thing says report of committees.
I just want to, Todd, thanks for coming. Nick, I don't want to hold you here and so Nick, thank you.
Thanks for helping us, Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Todd.
job.
Great work,
Great
Todd.
job. Both of you.
You're welcome. Our pleasure. If you have any questions, feel free to email or give me a call. I'll be available.
And you're welcome to hang on the line too, Nick, if you're really bored, but you do what you need.
No comment.
Exactly.
He wouldn't mind it if they accidentally got
Disconnected.
disconnected.
Yeah.
Your signal's so poor sometimes. I don't know what happened.
Okay. What is the report of committees?
I don't have a committee report because the whole board was here at our December the 17th meeting. Phil.
Well, I think we did.
Oh, no, we did.
We did meet after the board meeting.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
As I recall, the committee meeting, there was an executive session, but the committee, the hangar committee made a recommendation that the offer to flight services be the average of the two appraisals with the remainder of their term is like 3.5 years. So the average of the two appraisals with two renewal terms, two 5-year renewal terms, which would take them to 2039. And 2.5% escalation per year, and that they pay the flowage fee, the standard flowage fee for the fueling facility.
Right.
That's the recommendation. I informally communicated that to their attorney, but haven't heard anything back. I think the next step would be to make a formal proposal to them on those terms.
Do we need the full board?
Well, if the board agrees with that, yes.
The discussion I could feel in a little bit, it's standard for government entities to get two appraisals. Well, our tenant got an appraisal and we got an appraisal, and the normal is to use the average of those two. So because we're a government entity, we felt like that makes the most sense is to go back then and say, okay, we feel like we got a valid appraisal, you got a valid appraisal. Halfway between is what we're recommending, and that's
So is it
within $3,000.
Oh, it is. The difference between the two?
Well, no, the difference between their last offer was roughly 13% above their appraisal, above our appraisal, I'm sorry.
No,
No, they're
Above their appraisal, I'm sorry, yeah, above their appraisal. And so if you average their appraisals, we're like $2,700 per year apart.
Oh my
Very
gosh,
close, yeah.
I think that's reasonable to propose
One of the
that.
problems we have, if we just completely disregard our appraisals, is we're setting a precedent. We've got other corporate hangars that are coming up for renegotiation. I think we get an appraisal and we offer the opportunity for the tenant to get an appraisal by a qualified MIA appraiser, and we would consider averaging those too. But just to take our appraisal and negotiate down from it sets a bad precedent, in my opinion. I do think that averaging 2 legitimate, qualified, professional appraisals is an acceptable way of proceeding forward. It's what, as Ken said, it's what school corporations and cities and towns are required to do when they sell or buy real estate. Get 2 appraisals and they offer the average. So it makes sense from a standpoint going forward. It gives weight to both appraisals.
Mhm. And yeah, I think it's a great approach because the reality is we can't negotiate uniquely with, every scenario that comes up in the future with new renewals. And we've got to have some way to really be fair to, and treat everyone with the same process. I think that accomplishes that. Now, I could see too where, one party doesn't like one of the appraisals in a scenario, either party.
But we're using
To go for a third, at that point, partner with somebody on a third appraisal and throw out the lowest or do something there. But in general, the idea of, having multiple assessments and appraisals done makes perfect sense to me. And like I've said, about this situation we're in now, it's kind of a misnomer to me to call it really a negotiation because we can't do that really. We just have to establish a formula or a way of doing it that works. So
I think all along the board has tried to come up with some sort of decision that would be equitable to everybody. And so you're right. And as Phil said, if we come up with this formula, now we're saying we're going to use an MAI, a Member Appraisal Institute. They can buy one or order one if they want. And then we use the 2 now. The third, I think if you use an MAI, that's the highest qualification appraiser can get. So I think that makes it a quality appraisal.
And that's what we ran into on this case. One of them was wildly, absurdly low.
Mhm.
And
Depends.
there were 3.
appraisals come out different depending on who hires the appraisal sometimes too. I'm just saying
And
that
what
dynamic
experience
is
they
real. Right. Who's paying the appraiser often affects the appraisal.
But shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
These are professionals.
Shouldn't, but
These are professionals. I mean,
if you can remove that doubt, then
there's
that's all the
there's
better.
no real science though to appraisals.
Exactly.
Everybody, they're very subjective in nature.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be influenced by who's hiring them.
Well,
They take
I agree.
They have professional ethics as well that they generally follow, and if they don't, of course, they lose credibility in the marketplace. So we would hope that that's not the case.
When I was a banker, the appraiser wouldn't even talk to me if I was a lender because they didn't want any influence. That'd be a third party. So Phil's right. If they're any quality at all, they're not going to even talk to either party. Do an independent valuation based on what they're seeing in the marketplace. Our insurance agent just told us we're unique. And that's part of the problem with appraisals. There are no 2 exact airports anywhere around. So to come up with exact comparisons is difficult, if not impossible. So I think that's where you see the various numbers is this appraiser felt like these were comparable airports. This one felt those were comparable airports. Neither one's right or wrong. I think now if we use the average to it, it's a fair way to do it. And that was our recommendation as a committee.
Is there a special accreditation for airport appraisal people, or is it just commercial? Is this in a commercial category?
No, they're in a commercial category, and they're members of Appraisal Institute, which is a highly regulated, sophisticated designation to obtain. Requires hours and hours of education and experience. But there are appraisers who do predominantly airport facilities. And both of the appraisals we have are appraisers who do concentrate primarily on airport facilities. So, we found that both appraisals are very good. There's a difference in them, but that's to be expected because appraisals are just subjective opinions as to value.
And so what was the higher one? What were the numbers?
Okay,
And that's yearly?
Yeah, these are annual. This is
Annual.
before. So ours was 73,645, and the appraisal done by Flight Services was $53,908. So they're 20,000 apart.
That's a fair amount.
It is.
I think they offered to increase their appraisal by 13%.
Which brings us almost to the average.
Yeah, it's just within $2,700.
Yeah. When appraisals are done, is there like a list of facts, like from an airport that both appraisers would be basically appraising on the same things versus one, they got this idea and another one's got this idea, but it would be set forth by the airport that both appraisal companies would be basically saying on the same exact facts?
All appraisals have to be based on fact, so they.
But is there a standard for an airport to where?
There's an FAA standard.
Okay.
There's an FAA
So
protocol.
they follow that? I take it.
Yeah.
And why, my question is, if they do, why would one be so much further than the other?
Again, as I said, there's so much very.
I'm sorry.
A lot of it was a difference in the comps, who they were comparing this airport to.
Okay.
And that's their personal experience and what they wanted to compare it to.
Do you guys state what this airport is, or is it by someone's opinion?
Well, I think it'd be by the FAA, right? I mean, it'd be based on flights in and out, commerce, fuel flowage, runway
Number of jets,
length,
landing and
quality of
taking
runway.
off and landings for
Jet
jet power.
compared to commercial airports or they're more private?
I mean,
Well, that facility was compared to comparable facilities of like a corporate hangar, right?
yeah, I mean,
You know,
okay,
Well, I was thinking, is it compared to
So
Evansville or is it
facility,
compared
there's
to?
a facility itself,
Small.
and then there's the airport. You
Okay.
know, so there's the factors of both, right? So, if you got a building that has certain characteristics, the airport has, so it's gonna take into consideration all of those factors of it.
But there's still a large variable there to deal with.
That's kind of my point, is there's a lot, and there's a lot of subjectivity to what you choose and the case you make to back up the assumptions that you made as an appraiser.
Scott,
And
the
they all
whole
do a good
damn
job, and I'm
thing
sure they all
is
follow the same
nothing
rules,
more
but-
than Educated guess. That's all it is.
Do
I'm just
they,
trying to understand where.
do they do the exact same square footage? Because it seems like they'd be awfully close then.
they were,
Okay.
yeah, they were fine on all things like that.
All right, well, I'm
That's
just.
part of what makes it a difficult process, it really is.
It's-
Yeah,
it's
they
gonna-
agreed on
Well,
those
the
type
reason,
things.
the reason I'm asking this is never gonna stop. If there's no, if you'll have one, they'll have one, the next guys, you'll have one, they'll have one. It seems like there should be a flat line, this is what it is, this is square footage of the building, here's what you're doing. And now it becomes black and white for both companies, and they should be awfully darn close, it would seem.
The Jasper Flight Services and Master Brand, as an example, have different buildings, so they're not exactly the same kind of a building. So, and you go on down the list, so it'd be difficult to use the same per square foot for each building. They're too unique. The buildings are not exactly the same. So you end up having to get an appraisal to go out and look at that type of a
Do they
building.
look at the age of the building?
Yes.
That all gets factored in.
Yes.
I think it'd be like a standardized commercial appraisal, but then modified by the airport factor.
Yes.
And then what's happened is the different appraisals have, one looked at Henderson, we'll say, and then one looked at Tell City. They're both comps, right?
Sure.
But then what are we most like? Are we most like this more expensive area, which is at 73, or did we go down and we're looking at Sullivan as our comp? Because they're and so that's the sticking point of where the numbers, because the building is the building. I bet you the actual building part is probably within 5%. The difference came, I'm sure, with what is this airport?
Yeah.
And how does this airport compare to the other ones? And
Runway
that's a
line.
real tough
I
question.
mean, all kinds of stuff.
Approaches and.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever.
Tunnels.
There you go.
They had a hard time pumping that one.
Yeah.
They can't find another tunnel.
First in the state.
Yeah, so I guess to the point though of chasing our tail with these things is that obviously whatever happens here is what's going to happen at every single one of these. And then we also have the private hangars of the GA guys that are coming next as well. And how are we going to be hitting these things and marketing them? And this is a big deal. And we all want everyone to succeed. Everyone wants the airport to make a reasonable amount of money from the rent so that they can function, right? Can't have an airport with no functional revenue. And then we also need the corporations to be enticed to come here and maintain their presence here and fly out of here even more.
The tightrope we've been walking.
It's very
Several
difficult.
months.
It's very difficult. And I don't envy that position at all. Because now we're at the end where it's close. I guess we're so close to the end. Whatever, like has been stated, whatever happens is what's going to happen at every one of these, and you will not be able to, we now will not be able to back away from that when Master Brand comes and Best Chairs comes. Like, this is going to be our presence. And so are we going to obtain, is the goal here for these corporate hangars, which is really what we're talking about, are they all going to retrieve their own appraisal from a company? And then are we going to retrieve an appraisal and average it? Because if we do it now, that's what's going to happen for everyone.
My suggestion would be, yes, we will obtain an appraisal by a qualified, experienced appraiser who appraises airport facilities and MAI rated. And if the tenant wants to receive a similar appraisal, we'll consider averaging those two. And they may, again, there may be huge differences, but it takes both appraisals into consideration and we reach a midpoint.
The other thing we did talk about is.
If they don't want to get an appraisal, then we'll use ours as the basis for the rent.
I agree with that totally. Should we specify, the specifications for an appraisal we would accept from a tenant? If you're going to hire an appraisal, it has to meet. These
Brooks Galloway doesn't
standards.
It has to be an MAI.
Again, I don't want to.
I think we need to establish that at some point, not necessarily tonight.
Because this time it was the one that Flight Services obtained was a premium type of place.
Yes. So was ours. So
yeah.
And the other thing we did talk about is we could very well easily start with this same rate and say, okay, here's what Jasper Flight Services is paying, and offer that to the next tenant. Then they could come back and say, no, we want to get an appraisal, and we'd be willing to do that. But I don't know that we have to get an appraisal.
No, we don't. If it's for aeronautical use, you don't have to have appraisals. It's only if you're going to lease or sell property for other than aeronautical purposes, then you must have a fair market value appraisal. But fair market value, there are several ways you can establish rent. You can do it by surveying similar airports. It's hard to find similar airports. You can do it by appraisal, as we've done. You can do it by request for proposals. To find out what's out there in how much interest there is. And there's a fourth one, I'm sorry, it escapes my mind.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But FAA says that there's those 4 avenues. I think it was a cost to reproduce. But we've tried the survey and also the appraisal approach.
That's an interesting point, because if we collect 73,645 over 20 years, that's only $1.47 million. Can we replace a building 20 years from now for $1.4 million? Probably not.
No way.
So could we even replace that building right now for $1.4 million?
But we tried to prove that too, but.
But, so I'm saying,
That didn't go anywhere, so that didn't work.
Yeah. So
to confirm Brian's statement, we're basically would be setting our precedents here. Yes, there's 4 ways. We're deciding today, in my opinion, this is how we prefer to do it.
Yeah.
So is maintenance looked at in terms of?
These are triple net leases. Triple net leases. The tenant pays for all maintenance, insurance, and upkeep and utilities.
Okay.
So they're just leasing the improvement in the land from the airport.
Well, I guess we need to call for a motion to approve the request of the committee.
One question real quick, and I may have missed this, but we did furnish them the requested information of our appraisal and demonstrated that it followed the guidelines. Yeah. I know that was a question from the
Yes.
other session.
Got same day we got it.
Yeah, we got an email back from our appraiser with his background and they shared that with him. We can share that with him.
Yes, we did. I had a question about the fuel flowage thing, and I'm not really sure exactly this situation with Dubois County Flight Services is unique because they have the fuel farm issues where it's attached to their building / used to be theirs, I guess, and then was gifted in a sense to the airport authority. And so the fuel flowage then, will this maintain their current situation of fuel flowage where they have an advantageous arrangement?
They will continue to have the same arrangement that the other tenants who have a fuel facility.
Oh, okay.
So other tenants who have a fuel facility, that they pay a flowage rate, they pay the airport a rate for every gallon they pump. And flight services would do the same.
So it's a reduced rate compared to the general guy that comes in.
Significantly
Okay,
reduced.
Theirs was specifically called for whatever it was, an amount,
Yes.
12 cents or whatever, where the rest of it drifted up. You know, we revised it up over time, but theirs, so in other leases, we just say the current fuel flowage rate, and as we change it, it applies.
Yeah,
This one
okay.
was specified very specifically to be.
But the last agreement.
And I
The
went
last
back.
agreement though said it would escalate up. And it starts out, this new lease starts out 36 cents a gallon.
So it starts out with the current, whatever the currently approved is. It does, yeah. The renewal did say that. In the past, it was a flat rate and couldn't be changed until a renewal period came up.
Which
But
is
now it fluctuates. It floats with whatever the board approves as the flowage rate for fuel facility operators.
For those
Annually,
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
for those fuel
So
facility
then,
operators.
I would assume, does Master Brand have their own?
They have,
fuel
and
farm?
Kimball does also.
Okay, so those are the 3 fuel farms that
Right.
are on the
And
location.
And they would all be on the same fuel
On the
flowage rate.
same
No
schedule.
discrimination, they're all the same after.
So we don't
after
have
we get this
hoses running across the ground for Master Brand to fill up. They get it 2 pennies cheaper.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's the new proposal is to basically take them off of this fixed cost to put them onto this new possibly variable cost.
Yeah.
But it would be comparable and equal
Non-discriminatory, same with
to everybody. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what their fuel flowage rates are percentage wise to the total fuel farm?
Oh, how much, what percentage they use, what percentage of the fuel that goes through there for the.
I don't have it, I don't have it here with us.
No, I mean, you could even.
There is a number.
Yeah, it's like, they used 52,000 gallons last year roughly. I don't know what we pumped.
I mean, is it 50%?
I don't know.
No, it's not, Brian. We have Steve's guide chart that shows it. We put it together. It was like Jasper Flight Services had a certain amount, and who came down, Master Brand had an amount, and I think 52,000 gallons is what they ran through in 24. But we've got it broken out for the past years, what each one of them used. So they're not the biggest user. The biggest user really of fuel is Best Chairs and Master Brand. If I remember right, don't quote me because I don't have it right in front of me. I didn't bring it tonight, but that's what.
But I think Brian's question is what percentage of the fuel farm
coming out of their farm.
does flight services use? What percentage do we sell?
That just is an idea because and both of those comparisons would be important.
Yeah.
But
One thing we want to point out though is the fuel that goes in the fuel farm is paid for by the airport, by the board.
That's right.
Okay.
The other tenants, Master Brand and Kimball, they buy their own fuel and they pay for the fuel that goes in their tanks. We don't furnish their fuel, but the fuel that Jasper Engine Transmission draws off of is paid for by us. So they have no upfront cost
Okay.
the fuel in
And
storage.
that was kind of the trade-off when they decided to get out of the FBO business, but they were gonna let the airport have access to the fuel farm to serve as the FBO, to sell fuel to.
But we agreed to front the money.
And we agreed to front the money, and as they drew fuel out, they would pay the going rate plus the flowage fee on their purchases. So they don't upfront the money, which is a good deal for them, but it gives us the availability of fuel facility farm to be able to sell fuel to.
Well, and it keeps it fresh, right? Because you're moving it, you're not stale. Okay.
I don't think we've ever had. Not motions to approve the request of the recommendation. I'll make the motion that we approve the recommendation of the leasing committee as described in all this discussion thus far.
I'll second that.
That's just the average of 73,645 and 53,908 annually.
Yep, I think it's 63 something, comes out to be 60.
That rings a bell. Right here?
Yep, 63,776.
But yeah, there's some caveats in there. The annual.
Yeah, there would be.
Escalator.
2.5%
An annual
It's like a
escalator.
COLA.
They offered the escalator.
Yeah.
We were thinking about tying it to I think the committee was thinking about tying it to the CPI. That gets kind of complicated and.
Yeah.
But-
It's only 5 years. Annual, I mean,
Could be,
First options.
I guess.
13 and a half.
yeah, 13 and a half. But they're asking for
Hope inflation doesn't.
They were asking
for
for 20 years
20
plus
plus the term that
5-year
remains. Yeah.
extensions.
Any further discussion?
Real quick, what was the term then that we're talking about?
The terms would be the average of the two appraisals, which would be the 63, when I say 63, 776, 50. An annual escalator of 2.5. They would have, of course, the remainder of their current term through March of 2029, and the option for 2 5-year renewals. They would also continue to pay, as all other fuel facility tenants, they would pay the standard flowage fee.
Did you say the other part that was there was they were to pay back?
They acknowledge that they will pay back the difference between what they paid in rent and what.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify the motion.
No, that's great. We should all know. Okay, we ready to call for a vote? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion pass. Any other business?
I do got an agenda. Phil, correct me if I'm wrong, we need to set the monthly board meetings for the second Monday of the month, 5:30.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Your standard.
See our standard. So somebody would like to make a motion for establishing, Mike,
I would make a motion that we keep the same regular board meeting of the second Monday of every month at 5:30 PM in the terminal building.
Wherever that might
And,
be.
as that
Wherever that
changes,
might be.
Right.
active public terminal, yeah, so 5:30, second Monday every month.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Milestone rep stopped by last week asking about lay down yard for work out here. You guys remember 231 was plugged up and had the lights and all this. So they're gonna come in and do bridge decking. He's looking for a lay down yard. I kind of brought up the point, hey, would you tear down my barn down here on 231 if we did a lay down yard? He says, I think we could work something out. So they're just needing a little area for a 40-foot container, maybe a couple trailers or something like that. But I thought if we could get the barn tore down, I think Jim pointed out to me that last time we took bids in to tear the barn down was $8,000.
Yeah, somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 what it's going to cost us.
So that's where they want to put it, where the barn's located?
They actually initially thought right there by the woods is where they were thinking, but I brought up the barn and whatever, so we can work with them, whichever. And he said that that's a strong possibility they'd be able to work with us there. Speaking of which, the county highway superintendent, Donnie Leakin, he had called last week as well, or the week before, I don't remember now, and looking for a location for recycling, kind of where all the local community will come together and take their trash and take their recyclables and all that. Board member did express a little bit reservation about, because in my mind, I kind of had that barn area as a identified as potential location. And so I expressed some hesitation with that, saying, oh, yes, this is your main entrance into the airport. Some concerns, but I would at least want to bring to the board and for your consideration, thoughts, ideas, the like, because they're looking for a location. I guess they lost their property in Holland, and so they're looking for another location, kind of in the southwestern part of the county for that. So
they want a place where they can put their dumpsters and people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, I also,
I'm against
I think
that.
I would
Yeah, okay,
also,
moving on.
I would also decline.
Right by your entrance sign.
Yeah.
too.
That was the point that the other board member said too. So, okay. Well, I might work with him, see if we can find another location. I do have an acre over in Ferdinand.
Well, Ferdinand's is just a few,
Yeah, it is.
it's
That's
almost
right.
not even worth having it this close, honestly.
That's an eyesore. We don't want the entrance to our airport.
That's right.
No.
It'd be a 2-minute drive to Ferdinand's from here.
Right.
Really.
So, Pond House is kind of winding down with the Frost Jones Terminal Building, so we'll be. I think you all saw my email. There's some potential opportunities with the Pond House to make that into an asset and utilization. Russ didn't get into it, but if you look at your printout tonight, that one of their concerns was insurance is make sure it's occupied, and so we want to think about that down the road here a little bit. Steve's back. It's great to have him back. You don't know how bad you miss somebody until you don't have them. And all I can
And
say
you
is,
miss Andy.
and I miss Andy too. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Knee surgery?
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that is it. I don't have anything else. Questions about that? Brian, I'm working on getting together a binder for you as a new board member.
Yeah.
It's got sort of that, the FAA's got a kind of a book kind of geared towards part-time decision makers, as was before. And the state of Indiana also put together a nice binder, and they do annual training. And so that kind of contains all that information. So Cecil's Printing's got it. It didn't get done today. I'll get it to you later.
I might bring up under other business, I shared it with Jay there, and Travis and I talked about it. One of our senators was able to get the Department of Defense or War, I guess, depending on what side of the fence you're on, but to authorize some, you might be able to describe it better.
Yeah.
Where they would test and build airplane, or not airplanes, I'm assuming.
Drones.
Drone, thank you. In southwestern Indiana was one of the locations in the whole country that we're looking at. Well, I know Crane is in southwestern Indiana, but so is Huntingburg Regional Airport. So if we could get any access to that, I think that would be great. So I don't know if there's any thoughts on whether that should be something Travis pursues or not.
Sounds great.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Any
Got plenty
UAV
of land.
related activities, just great. It would be great to have, yeah.
I've got, according to
Especially if
my
they
drone,
consume fuel.
Crane has gotten final approval. There's two places in the United States on this drone thing.
Yes.
Crane is one of them.
Yeah.
The other one, I can't tell you exactly where that is. But this drone thing that's happening at Crane is also going to bring industry into southern Indiana to build the drones.
And that's what the email, I'm connected with Senator Young, and he sent the email out of a blanket email, and I just was reading and thought, oh, that might be something we can get. I don't know those details, whether Crane's already got approved or not, but I know that southwestern Indiana was designated as an area for this.
I got notified, I guess it was last Saturday afternoon, because I got a text message from Mike. Mike and I are fishing buddies. So he lets me know what's going on.
Did you remind him Huntingburg has an airport?
Huh?
Did you remind him that Huntingburg also has an airport?
Actually, When you
knows
get
that.
ready to dedicate this new facility down here, is Mike gonna be down?
Maybe. He cut
He was
the
at the
shovel, he broke ground with
Ribbon
us.
cutting.
Yeah.
Ken, I did mention, I've got an in at SAIC, I will talk to her and see if we can get tied in some way or get somebody up there to talk with us. They're one of the main contractors. They've been up for 20-some years, so I'll see if they're working with drones, we could probably get it in. And then I also asked past contract people I know they're still up for work, and I'll see if they can give us some ideas. But yeah, it'd be worth pursuing because they're also doing microelectronics training now too. So
Batteries and everything. Yeah.
batteries and all that.
Well, Kimball Electronics does a lot of their work.
What?
Like Kimball Electronics does a lot of that work
Yeah.
for them, so it'd be close to that industry here to
Yeah.
support them already.
Yeah. Becky, did you want to talk about that question that we got from a couple of donors as far as name rights and number of values, or that's something we want to wait for a future meeting?
I'd say
We've had some customers, or potential donors to our foundation for the maintenance and, of the new terminal, what is our naming rights? We've already established that if you want a certain room, we've set a value that you donate a certain amount and you get your name on the mezzanine or a particular room. There's at least one or two donors have asked now, was there a difference? I don't know, if different amount in the printing or what between a $25,000 donation and a $50,000 donation.
donor.
Well, it's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
So
So the 50,000, we put some lights around it.
Gold level.
So that's not like that's something we're still in discussion.
Yeah.
Stages.
I just want to say thank you to Becky, Steve, and Ken for helping me with this, because it's nice to have somebody kind of run point on it. So thank you for the work on that.
You're welcome.
Attorney's report.
The only thing I have is I've submitted a proposal for legal services for the ensuing year. As you recall, I just serve a monthly retainer of $650 to attend meetings and to give general legal advice throughout the month to Travis and board members who have questions. If there's things that involve litigation or other than routine work, drafting contracts and leases and things like that, then it's at the rate of $175 an hour. And I propose those terms for the ensuing year.
And I just want to say I appreciate Phil. He's always quick and responsive to anything, anytime that I have a question or need something out of him. He's prompt, and I very much appreciate his professionalism.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Also a motion out there to approve the legal services agreement from Schneider O'Brien Law Office.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. That's all I have.
Did-
I need to sign
Did
this.
anybody check to see how much O'Brien kid charges?
I might cut you a deal.
Well, I know what a couple other lawyers charge, and we're getting a steal.
I do too.
Guys, you're not supposed to discuss that.
That's a discounted rate for local units of government. Our firm does that for City of Huntingburg and for Town of Holland.
Pass the claims registers around. Did everybody have a chance to look at them?
Yes, I did.
No, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Any discussion? No, I'll ask for motions to approve.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the claim register.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Floor open to visitors for comments.
That's general, this is payroll. Oh, that's payroll. This is normal.
I didn't sign either one.
Other comments? Thank you all for attending.
No, I got a
He's-
comment.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna cut loose
I
here.
got a comment, and I got some questions. First off, I appreciate, my name's Carl Dodson. I run Advantage Fire and Safety, Jasper, Indiana. I got an airplane sitting down here in hangar. My family and my business have had an airplane based here since 1957. For more than 65 years, we have flown off this airport. And even though I'm not flying that Twin Comanche down there, it will fly by the end of April. When it flies, it's leaving and it's never coming back. But I appreciate all of you people around this table taking your time to run this airport. And a lot of what you've done is you've run it into the ground. And a lot of things you've done right. Travis, how many FBOs are on this airport?
Just one.
Just one. Who?
The Airport Authority.
The people sitting at this table is the FBO. Okay? Ramey Eckerly used to be manager. In 2008, they wrote on paper, it's on your website, you can download it and read it. Becky, I asked you if you had ever read the standards, and you said no, you had heard of them. Has everybody around this table read the standards for operating on this airport?
You're referring to the minimum
Minimum
standards.
standards.
Yeah.
Plus any amendments which would come out in the middle? Travis, where's your mechanic?
We use a mechanic at Sullivan Airport.
In other words, you don't have one. The standards say that you will. It doesn't give you the option of picking up the phone and calling somebody to come in. It says in their standards, you will have a mechanic on this airport. You will offer flight instruction with someone on the payroll. Not having somebody come in part-time.
I don't think that our standards say we're mandated to have a mechanic on the property. I think we set standards for what they have to comply with if they want to be a mechanic on the property. But we don't
You
say,
had a mechanic on the property.
We
His
certainly
name was
did,
Tom Knoll,
and
and
he met
you
the,
run him off.
and he met the standards.
And you run him off.
I don't know that we ran him
Well,
off.
Phil didn't run him off.
And the only reason those standards were actually written by the board and Ramey Eckerly and approved in 2008 was to accomplish one thing. It was to put Indiana Aeromotive out of business.
Well, no,
Carl, I
Indiana
think-
Aeromotive wasn't
yeah,
out
that-
You
here.
can argue with that all you want.
Yeah,
Carl,
well, Indiana
but
Aeromotive
that is
wasn't
the
even
actual
here in
truth.
2000.
In 2008, the Indiana Aeromotive was not here. They sold out in 1998.
Mhm.
So in 2008, they were not here. They were not in existence.
No, they were not here. Because there was only gonna be one fixed base operator. And that's just for flight services. And they weren't gonna compete with Indiana Aeromotive. That's the only reason for the 2008 standards being written and approved, was to put this operation right here out of business. Don't tell me it wasn't, because I was here and I lived through it. You've got things that you're supposed to do, you're not doing them, you're not here. You're not a fixed base operator, all you're doing is selling fuel. That's all you're doing. And you're renting some hangar space.
Well, Carl, I would actually
And you're
disagree with
renting
you.
hangar space.
I would disagree with you, sir. We actually do perform on our payroll. Aircraft are available for rent. Our aircraft
Yep.
that we own, our instructors who's on our payroll is available for flight lessons.
Mhm.
We have produced over 5 students this year alone
Mhm.
that are now in college working on their secondary education in
Uh-huh.
aviation
And
degrees.
the thing of it is, then you decide that we're gonna raise the hangar rent. You didn't ask anybody about it. The board just raised the hangar rent. So all of a sudden I go from $331 a month to $431 a month. I get a $100 increase. Nobody ever bothered to pick up the phone. I didn't know it until my wife checked the email, and here was the invoice there.
Did you ask us what we thought? Did you ask the aircraft owners what they thought? Or did you just arbitrarily say, well, to hell with you, we want more money? I just sit here for an hour and listen to you talk about your new facility down here. Federal government's gonna kick 3.3 million. You've got to come up with another 3.3 million. And then I get this notice in the mail, for $500,000, we'll give you a piece of it. You get a new office for a $100,000 donation. Basically, you've gone after donations for everything. The only thing that you can't put your name on is you're not selling off the restroom. Now, what that amounts to is this. You people have flat spent more money than you've got coming in. Otherwise, you wouldn't be out here looking for another $750,000 to cover your butt.
Well, that's not true, Mr. Dodson. The airport, the terminal building is completely funded. Now, it is true that we've had to go into some of our surplus, some of our reserves in order to fund some of it. And that's where the request for donations, the request for naming rights, that's where that would come to replenish those.
And for an extra $100, you can put those reserves back.
Don't tell me that we don't have the money to complete that terminal building. It is there. It's been completely funded and the funds have been appropriated. But we'd like to be able to replenish those reserves, and that's what this campaign is for.
Yeah, that's what this campaign's for, and that's what my extra $100 a month is for.
Extra $100 a month or whatever it is to keep up with inflation, to keep up with fair rental values of hangars and properties. We can't live in the past. We can't continue to stay at the same rate every year. So the board looks at rental rates every year. They look at all kinds of rates every year to determine what the appropriate increase should be, if there should be an increase. We look at fuel rates. We look at hangar rates. We look at all the services that the airport provides every year.
That's all done in public meetings, so it's not.
Yeah,
but the thing of it is,
that we're not transparent.
But the thing of it is, you sit here on the second Monday of the month and you make the decision, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to ask anybody who actually uses the facility. We're just going to do it.
Can we publish?
Now, maybe the county commissioners in Dubois County most probably have given you the authority to do that. And the people I really should be pissed off at is the county commissioners and the county council.
Yeah, it's not like.
Because every one of you sitting at this table is an appointed position. It's not elected.
It's not like those rates were done in secret, Mr. Dodson. They were discussed at many meetings, beginning last June.
We talked about,
And before they were adopted, notice was published in the papers, 2 papers about the proposed rates and the.
Right there they are.
And
I was
the
also
meetings,
here.
the meetings to.
I was
adopt
also
it.
here 3 Saturdays ago at 2:00 in the afternoon. The airport was unmanned. There wasn't a soul here.
On the weekend? Yeah.
And I was
Normal.
here till about 5 o'clock. There wasn't a soul here. My airplane was on tie down out here. That night we had a line of thunderstorms roll through here with high wind notifications. And more than that, we also had tornado warnings out here. That was on Saturday night. Sunday morning, my airplane was still on tie down. But that month I paid $331 to have it inside. Travis, did you come out and move it on the inside? No, you did not.
I did. It's inside right now, Carl.
It's inside right now, but it wasn't inside that Saturday night when we had the storms and the tornado stuff. And don't tell me we didn't have high winds.
No.
Lindsay Construction is putting my son's roof on his house, a new roof on. Now, I'm not talking about shingles. I mean, a new roof.
But Carl,
Carl, didn't you ask us to move your plane out on the tarmac and tie it down so that he could work, your mechanic could work on
Actually,
it?
his mechanic asked me that.
Yes, because the guy who's buying it and working on it didn't want to move it on his own from the back of the hangar past another brand spanking new airplane sitting next to it and other airplanes in there, because any scratch that he would have put on it, he would have been responsible for.
Mr.
Seems
Dawson, we
reasonable.
appreciate your concerns and comments, but I think that's something we probably should address outside of a public meeting. I mean, it's
No,
an issue for your
We're
plan.
gonna address it in the meeting because I want it as a matter of record. And here's
I
why.
think it's on record already, so.
When I got that invoice in for this month, which always payable in advance, Travis, you haven't got the check yet, because I told my wife, do not pay it. We got a board meeting coming up. I'm going to the board meeting. I paid for hangar rent basically forever. And for more than 2 months, the airplane was not in the hangar. But what really made me mad was when we had those storms come through here. Travis knew it was outside and it stayed outside.
But I'm hearing we were asked by your people to move it outside.
Did your mechanic or you know that the storms were coming?
No,
You didn't know they were coming?
No.
You don't live around here?
No.
Where's your mechanic from?
Nashville.
Are we allowed to maneuver and move planes without Travis, without the owner's consent?
Yeah, we will move, whatever the owner directed me to do. His
Yeah.
mechanic directed me to keep it on the ramp, so he was working on it. He dropped the cowlings, and he chose to not work on it for an extended period of time. Is that correct, Carl?
Yep,
Okay. And was it there from where he worked on it last?
that's right. Because what he told you, leave it outside. Because I'm not gonna take the responsibility to move it, to have to move other planes to get it out.
So we would take the
That's
risk
normal.
if we move it without the owner's permission, we're taking the risk of damaging the plane, so.
It's a community hangar, right?
But it's a community hangar.
It's a community hangar.
Owners
See,
always
by
move
moving
their
my
own.
airplane out in the back of the hangar, but having to move 2 others in order to get it out.
Yes.
If there would have been any scratch, any damage, anything with those other 2 planes,
Mhm.
been my responsibility.
Just as it is those other 2 planes owners' responsibility if they were to scratch your plane. And they move their own planes as well, right? It's normal in the community hangar for the owners to move aircraft and to sometimes maybe move another owner's
But
aircraft.
see, in this case, we're not talking the T hangar, we're talking about the big one right next
Right.
door.
Well, I understand
We know.
exactly what we're talking about, but that's nothing out of the ordinary that you're bringing up. From what I'm hearing, I think that's still ultimately your responsibility to position the airplane.
No, it's not my responsibility to position the airplane.
Well, okay.
The fact of the matter is,
We're not gonna get anywhere that way, are we?
hey, I can tell just from what you just said. There are 70-some pages that you haven't read, which is the standards which say Travis is the one who's gonna move that airplane. Hell, it's even on the damn board over there. It says call out fees, $150.
That was my question. Would we have a call out on this Saturday?
If I want it out of the hangar,
Or in?
I've got to call Travis, pay $150 to get the airplane out of the hangar to go do a self-fuel deal. What I'm telling you is this, you have a set of written standards. Read it, because you haven't.
If you wanted the plane moved inside on a Saturday when there's no staff here, but there is staff on call, you would use the call out service and pay the call out fee, which doesn't sound like you did.
No,
Right. So why would someone move your plane if there was no call out made or no request made to move it? Right? No one's gonna just voluntarily move
no
it
matter
for you.
where it's at.
whether it's on tie down or in the hangar. The responsibility of moving that plane is Travis.
And Travis moved it, and then that's where it was left and not requested to be moved again.
Yeah.
So what's your point?
While it was being worked on. Nobody was, and we were here working on it. I called you up that following Monday. Did I not?
Yep, that's what you said.
And I told you I was there Saturday afternoon from about 2:00 until about 5:30. And not a soul from the airport was here. Nobody. No airport employee.
I have a question. Did you say that it's leaving in April?
Yeah.
And it will be gone?
Yep.
Yeah. That sounds
It will
like
be
a
gone.
good plan for, that's, you don't have to mess with it anymore.
It's probably best for both of us.
But what I am saying is this. You got a 70-page standard. If you're gonna be a director, if you're gonna sit there on the board, read it. Because as an FBO, you don't meet your own standards.
Well, I think we do, but Ken, this is becoming a bitch session. I think we need to get control of it.
I think we've heard your
This
point.
is not a
Carl.
public hearing, it's a public meeting, you can come, you can observe, you can ask questions, but to actually hijack the whole meeting, no, that's something you've gotta control. Ken.
No, I think.
See, I'm not
You've
hijacking.
gotten your opinion, Mr. Dodson. I
Yeah,
appreciate
I'm not
it.
hijacking the whole
We're done.
meeting. I'm just telling you.
Thank
I
you for your
started
time.
off with, Travis is a great guy. He does a hell of a job as the airport manager. I pat him on the back. And I appreciate the work you guys do as far
Are
as.
there any other comments from the rest of
That's
the?
it.
Ken?
And Scott agrees with me. Don't you?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And, no, just, that was my next
All right,
request.
second.
There we go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.